admissible. I wonder if I just missed a slide. Did you see it went really quick? But anyway, how does one go back after the space bar? I'm not a PowerPoint guru. Go back like this. There we go. There it is. You're smart. Good. Thank you. Intending immigrant, that is something like we talked about earlier. Dual intent, that's okay. I want to stay permanently in the U.S. H-1B visa is okay. L visa is okay. Intending immigrant is a problem. If I have a B1 visa or maybe a J1, an F1, a student visa, other types of visas, you cannot be an intending immigrant. Immigrant is somebody who intends to reside in the U.S. permanently. And if the government believes that you have that intention, certain visas you will be denied. So even if you state the intention, it could even be a presumption that they decide from facts, you know, that you present at the visa interview or in your application package. This intending immigrant idea could come up in a number of settings, and we'll talk a little bit about that later too. Overstay is somebody, this is a term used to describe someone who has overstayed their visa, overstayed the period allowed in the United States. So if you ever want to know what to call that person, they're an overstay. Usually the time that they are allowed in the United States is determined by the I-94 card that they are given. When they enter the U.S., it's an entry-departure record. If you've ever been, anyone been to another country, traveled outside U.S.? When you do, if you go to Singapore, if you go to Japan or UK or anywhere else, even if you go to, I'm guessing, somewhere close by like Pakistan, they make you fill out a little paper. And that paper is like the I-94 card. It says, this is my name, this is what I'm here doing, I'm a visitor, I'm a student, I'm a something. And when they let you into the customs, when they pass you through the immigration office, they stamp it and say how long you can stay in that country based on that type of visa, based on your purpose for being there, and what you're telling them. I'm here for a conference, well, you only need 2 days, you'll be gone in 2 days. Here's, you know, March 17th, go home. So anyway, that's the, if you've overstayed the period allowed, that's what you are, an overstay.
What are the implications if you overstay, if the I-94 is expired, and due to some business requirement he has to stay beyond the I-94? What are the implications on the traveler?
The implications for a traveler who overstays become more serious as the time goes on. Okay? Typically, if you overstay a visa, you could have your visa canceled or revoked, and that's technically what should happen. So if you have a visitor visa or even an H-1B, the next time you try to enter the U.S., if they realize you are overstay, then they would cancel that visa and make you go back to apply again, fresh, at the consulate.
Can we extend the I-94?
Yes, but you must file for extension before the expiration date. If you're an overstay, you can't extend. It's too late. You must leave and try to come back. There's a 6-month, benchmark. If you stay beyond 6 months of the visa that's given, they give you a 3-year penalty. They say you can't come back to U.S. for 3 years. If you overstay more than 1 year, they say that's a 10-year penalty, and you won't come back to U.S. for 10 years. So you can apply for a waiver from those, but it's tough to get. Usually that's going to be something that sticks with a person. Otherwise, the penalties are not terribly strict within the first 6 months. A person could leave, overstay for a month, 2 months. Their visa could be canceled, but actually they could obtain another visa usually without too much trouble if they have legitimate job offer or legitimate documents and a good application. Petitioner. That's another term that is used to describe the company or organization that sponsors the individual or employee for the visa. That's the petitioner. Petitioner and beneficiary. When I first started doing this kind of work, it was a little confusing. I would hear those words all the time and I would think, what is petitioner? Is that like, somebody who, what does that mean? But now we know a petition is a form that you fill out, and so the person, the agency or company that's filling out the form, the petition, they are the petitioner. They are requesting a benefit for an individual from the Immigration Service. Practical training is something I mentioned briefly earlier. That's when an individual has finished their U.S. degree program, master's, bachelor's, even associate's degree, which is the first 2-year degree that sometimes people get. After the program is over, the Immigration Service will give them usually 1 year of a practical training. They can go work in their field for a year. And once they have practical training, they can also change status, and that's something we'll mention a little bit later. Changing status from practical training or a student status to H-1B or to some other status is possible. Prevailing wage. This is a term that is used within H-1B and green card processing. Somebody tell me, what is prevailing wage to you? What does that mean? You can read it, you've got it right here, but go ahead.
In US, each location, there will be prevailing wage rates.
It's a minimum wage.
There are minimum wage which must be paid. There are 4 different levels.
Okay, good.
Most precisely, it's been determined by the UN.
Correct. The U.S. Department of Labor does statistical reporting for the wages in every geographical location of the United States, and they publish these. Also, certain employers, I'm sure some of your employers being big, they have your own, you have your own statistical reports that show the wages for certain occupations in the geographical locations where your companies exist or where your assignments are located. And so using those reports or using the government report for a prevailing wage determination, you have to tell the Department of Labor that you are willing to pay. You know, there's actually cold air coming in. I think we'll leave that open.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's leave this open just because of the oxygen that I'm quickly using. Prevailing wage tells the